I break the camera.
Hi, my name is Sergio Mir. I'm in public speaking with Mr. Professor Primo, and I have speech number 1 here, a beloved one. Okay, my stepbrother Brian Paget is only 19 and he's serving 4 years in prison. I know you're thinking that whatever he's there for, he's probably deserves to be there. Well, you're right. He does belong there right now. But I urge you not to judge someone if you don't know them or know their struggles. You see, I've known Brian for 15 years. My father married his mother. I know what he's been through firsthand. I chose to speak about my brother so that other young people like him realize how much they hurt their loved ones when they lead a life of crime, and also to point out the consequences that come with it. I've seen my brother get put in handcuffs on more than one occasion. I've attended almost all of his criminal court dates, from his juvenile record to his adult record. I've even visited my brother numerous times while incarcerated in numerous facilities. Seeing my brother going in and out of detention centers and prison has caused many hardships for me. I continue to stay supportive and hope he leads a normal life when he's released. As a child, Brian got what we call the short end of the stick. He was the youngest of 3 siblings, so when his parents got divorced, he felt all the hardships the most. The arguing, the fighting, back and forth from our family's houses, all that stuck with him. The introduction of a new man in his life, who was my father, also had a negative impact on him. You could see the anger filling his heart more and more every time he had a meltdown. When things seemed like they couldn't get any worse, at age 9, Brian's biological father dies horrifically in a multiple car crash. From this point on, Brian's rage controlled him and made him bitter. Shortly after his father's death, he started hanging out with kids that were up to no good. And Brian even broke into his first car before the age of 10. When my brother hit his teens, his crimes got bolder. He went from stealing bikes to breaking and entering into homes. He ended up in juvenile detention center at least 5 or 6 times. One time, the judge sent him to an 11-month program at a youth offender camp called Eckerd Youth Academy near Orlando, Florida. This was a facility found for underage offenders. Pep talks and programs failed my brother, and when he came home, he got right back onto the streets with those so-called friends. His friends loved having him around because he had a full heart, and they knew he would execute just about any crime completely fearless. You could say Brian gave his honor to the wrong people and let them take advantage of it. Soon he found himself hanging out with gangs, including the Town and Country Boys and Latin Kings based in Tampa, Florida. This was around the time my brother became addicted to cocaine and alcohol. In 2007, Brian and a few of his co-defendants held up 3 men leaving a local strip club around 2 o'clock in the morning. His so-called friends waited in the getaway car while Brian had a gun pointed at the men, demanding money. They left the scene with $300. Unsatisfied with his cut, the driver of the getaway car demanded they go back to the scene and rob somebody else. When they arrived at the scene, the Tampa Police Department was waiting with guns drawn. Everyone in the car, including my brother, was high on a deadly combination of alcohol, cocaine, and prescription Xanax. It was said to be the reason of such poor judgment for those crimes. After 11 months in Orient Road County Jail and GPS-tracked house arrest, my brother was put on 4-year probation. 6 months later, he racked up a few more charges, leaving the judge with no other option but to turn his probation into prison time. He is currently serving his sentence in Lake City Correctional Facility. The long stays away from home are painful to the family, and we wish he would use his talents in a positive way. He's an avid dancer and has an impeccable entertaining skill. It's been 2 years since Brian's been a free man. Today, I think he's owned up to his responsibilities for what he did. Even though I don't think he's ready to be on the street yet, I don't think he would pick up a gun and rob anybody else. So far, he's keeping a good attitude and staying out of trouble. When he gets out, he plans to go to barber school or become a tattoo artist. The anticipation to be reunited with my brother builds rapidly pending his release in July 2012. Having my brother away from home for so long is a great loss, but I understand he must learn his lesson and pay his debt to society. Most importantly, I think my brother had an epiphany and finally realized that his family are his real friends, not the gang members. I sure was waiting for that. Thank you. And that's a speech for a loved one.